Okay, back in the old Grantland days, Kevin Wildes and I used to do half-baked ideas. He was my old ESPN teammate for a long, long time. He has not been on the BS podcast to do half-baked ideas. That's my fault. That's his fault. We talk. We just give them to each other on the phone, but for some reason we haven't put them on podcast form. Now we're back. Wildes, is it good to be back?
I'm very excited. I just want to jump into the first idea since I've got 8 years of ideas that have just been filling a notebook.
Well, in 2012, we had a pretty good run with half-baked ideas that included, I think the longest conversation ever about root beer was probably a 15-minute breakdown of what's the point of root beer and how can we do better with it. But the point of half-baked ideas is this. It's a kernel of an idea. It's 50% of an idea. It's 42% of an idea. It's almost there. You can't quite get it over the finish line. It's like you're inside the 10-yard line. You're trying to ram it into the end zone, and you can't totally do it, but you got all the way down there in the first place, and that's a half-baked idea.
That's right. It's a great drive that just ends in nothing. Just like, hey, good job, everybody. But there's still value in it, even though it means nothing.
I think my favorite one ever was the basketball batting cages, because I've been thinking about that a lot over the years. And the concept of that was like, you go to a batting cage, you just want to hit baseballs, do 30 minutes, and you take 100 swings, and you just get it out of your system. And it's like, that was great. We do not have this for basketball. So you were, the original half-baked idea was, what if there was a basketball batting cage? And then we spitballed it. And I think we landed on rebounders for hire.
We did rebounders for, well, the basketball batting cage also became, I wanted to install it in NBA arenas. So you just don't come off the bench totally, cold.
Oh, yeah.
Come in. So Kyle Korver, once you see Kyle Korver warming up, like, oh, here comes Korver. He's coming into the game. Like, and I don't see any reason why Kyle Korver wouldn't shoot just a little bit better by shooting 100 jumpers before he enters the game.
Right. So
Cuban said it was a real estate issue. Like, he didn't have enough, space.
So like you put it under the runway of the arena or something. It's a little like in Vision Quest before the final match, Loudon Swain against Shoot. He had this whole separate part of the gym where he was able to do jump ropes and do some fall to the mats and stuff like that. He was ready by the time he came in to shoot. You're saying Kyle Korver, he's going underneath. He's got this little mini 3-point court, and he can get like 23s off in 2 minutes. The thing with the rebounder for hire, which we all settled on, was like, there's nothing more fun than just shooting jump shots. The problem is there's either you're doing it with 10 other people shooting jump shots, or you're doing it by yourself and you have to go rebound for yourself. Instead of a lemonade stand, some kid in your neighborhood, some 12-year-old is like, I'm a rebounder for hire.
All I do is rebound.
Yeah. Pay me $20. I'll come over for 40 minutes and I'll just rebound for you. And I think that's going to be more successful than lemonade stand. So anyway, that's the concept of the half-baked ideas. Take the floor. What's your first one?
Okay. So I'll paint the picture for you. Go to the gym. You see like a pulsating like purple light in like the corner of the gym. And outside of the gym, there's like a guy who looks like a sober Jackson Maine, if like Jackson Maine was wearing like a lot of like vintage Patagonia.
Okay.
He's shaving. He's shaving with a straight razor in an old gold prospector's tin. And he looks at you. He's like, Simmons. He's like, get your life jacket. You're like, what? What's going on? So he throws you a life jacket. You go into this room where all the bikes used to be. The bikes are all gone. It's a huge tank. In the tank is a whitewater rafting raft.
Okay.
7 other people. Guy gets it. You get in there. Everyone is very nervous. The music is blasting. Dustin, his name's Dustin. Dustin turns on the turbines, and it's just chaos. And you're just going for an insane whitewater rafting. At one point, you fall off, like Buddy falls off, and Dustin's like, leave him, he's gone. You're like, never. You dive in, you save him. He's like, you're my hero. He's like, you're mine, dude. And like, you're back on, and Dustin's like, and then it ends. And Dustin's like, great job, guys. See you next Wednesday. Indoor whitewater rafting. Are you buying it?
So the concept is you want all of the thrills and danger of what it would be like to go whitewater rafting without actually going whitewater rafting or dying.
Well, my gym has a mountain climbing thing inside. So this has already been done. Someone's like, you know what? Bring the mountain indoors. So I just want to bring the whitewater rafting indoors.
How much space do I need?
I don't want to die.
How much space do I need?
There's also a home version. It can fit in the smallest apartment. It's like a Peloton. Like a Peloton. The smallest apartment will make it work.
How much in the gym? How much space do I realistically need for like 20 feet?
I think you need a lot. You have to have room to go overboard.
Yeah.
And these are like the turbines that turn this thing that create the waves. These are industrial type like things that they get to like start moving dams to really get it chaotic.
I wonder if you can combine this with one of your other greatest ideas, which was half-baked ideas, which was Dolphins to Go.
Yeah, this is the side hustle of Dolphins to Go, because Dolphins to Go never took off, so now I'm stuck with all these tanks. Need something to do with them.
I got blamed for Dolphins to Go taking off because a lot of people liked that idea and they felt like I didn't sell it hard enough. And ironically, I think I went to Mexico like a year and a half later with my family and we swam with dolphins and it was the best. And I belatedly came around with Dolphins to Go. What's better than swimming with a dolphin? Nothing.
God, it's great.
So
that's right. It's called Rapidly.
What's it called?
Rapidly. Yeah, it's like kind of like sounds like an app. It sounds good. It feels like I can get venture capital behind that. It's got the name Rapidly. Maybe I drop a vowel. It's just Rapdly.
Yeah, you need some sort of cool spelling thing. Dropping a vowel is always an aggressive move for any startup. It's like, yeah, RAPD. All right, I'm going to do a palate cleanser before your second half-baked idea.
Okay.
My dad, a couple weeks ago, was walking in Beacon Hill, and he fell, and really got banged up. Had to go to the hospital, and there was like he might have chipped something in his shoulder, and his arm's been in a sling for 2 weeks. And my entire family has been mystified by this because if you've ever walked with my dad, he walks about a mile an hour. He's like really the all-time slow walker. So when they walk the dogs, his dogs are always fat because he walks so slow. It's like there's no exercise for the dogs. So my whole family has been trying to figure out how he was going fast enough to fall on Charles Street in Beacon Hill and what the chain of events were and also how he got so banged up. And it got me thinking, when I was watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, there's that scene when Leo throws the 8-year-old girl down and she's okay because she has padding on her elbows. So I was thinking for people over 70, their wardrobe should also be equipped with like a lot of padding. So my dad goes to buy a shirt from wherever, Macy's, but he's buying the over 70 shirt and it's covered in padding you can't see. So if he falls again on Charles Street, he's actually landing like enclosed like a stuntman would wear. I don't have a name for this yet. Over 70 padded clothing basically is all I got. Half-baked idea.
Is your dad okay now?
Yeah, he's okay. He has a sling on.
Okay, good.
And we've been making jokes about it for 2 weeks, and I'm talking about different nursing homes in Southern California. And does he want a view? There's a partial beach view or a full beach view, stuff like that? Because this was like really his ultimate old guy moment. But this is what happens when you hit 70. Like your parents start, weird accidents and injuries start happening. Padded clothing, yes or no? You buying?
I'm buying. I think it needs a little bit more, but overall, it can't hurt. I'll put it under like the it can't hurt policy.
Like always with my half-baked ideas, it was in the oven for about a minute and a half. The top of it browned, and that was about it. It didn't really cook.
Half-baked. Well,
your second one.
Productivity Airlines.
Okay.
Only takes you to one location, Accomplishmentville.
What does that mean?
What do you got? You working on a column, Bill? Working on something for the Ringer? Go over to the airport. I'll take you up at 3 hours, land you right back.
In the same airport.
We don't go anywhere. We just fly because you can get stuff done. There's 3 options. 1, you go at you're in the air, you're flying around, people are working, people next to you are on spreadsheets, they're doing stuff. Option 2, care about the environment? Who doesn't? A grounded plane version that's pumping in air like a plane, but you're never leaving the ground. It's cheaper. I save a ton on fuel.
Okay.
Third version, just a movie theater. It's version 2, but I'm just showing movies. You're not supposed to be working. But I'm showing first-run movies.
Oh,
because
so
plane movies are better. Productivity Airlines.
Why couldn't it be like a giant WeWork type office that's built like a plane?
Right.
And has the same kind of plane type of dynamics. I'm with you. I've written some of my fingers barely work anymore, but I've written some of the best pieces, emails, whatever, always on a plane. I need the chaos of the plane. People walking around, bad Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi makes you sort of get focused. You can't really surf. You can't really watch any videos. Productivity Airlines.
That's pretty good. I think
it's a great one.
I don't think the plane should fly around for 3 hours and then land in the same spot. It feels like that's bad for the environment.
Okay, we'll do number 2. It's a lot cheaper.
Hey, can we have dumb service animals in Productivity Airlines? However it ends up playing out. Like, can somebody just have like a small horse and then the passengers get like the stuff like that unites the people on the plane.
That's the thing. People think that you don't you'll still have to go through security and everything. It's still going to be a huge hassle. I'm not going to take away any of the inconvenience because that's what actually sharpens your mind. You have getting to the plane. I got to really be focused here. I got to get through this line. I'm trying to avoid things. I'm trying to get a sandwich, trying to run to the bathroom. Then once you're on the plane, you're locked in. So I'm still going to have all of that. So take your shoes off, the whole 9.
Do you have to hire an actor to be the one who's crop dusting everybody as he walks by them on his way to the airport, John? Or is that just happening naturally?
That may happen naturally if it's the same cross section of customers. Everyone will be using this. It'll be the most popular. It'll be like WeWork, except it'll be on planes.
That's always Kyle, by the way. Just in case, if you're ever on a plane with Kyle and you're like, "Who's doing that?" It's Kyle. All right,
Poor Kyle doesn't have a mic.
No, he has a mic. He was just nodding. Kyle's having a good time. Third half-baked idea, unless you want a palate cleanser. You need a palate cleanser?
I'll just give you a fast one.
Okay.
This is stupid. Uber competitor. I'm not in any hurry when I'm in an Uber. Just an Uber competitor called Slow Ride.
Slow Ride?
Take it easy. That's it. Just go slow. Go slow, and it plays Foghat the whole time.
It's a slow Uber?
It's a slow Uber. I don't need to. More often than not, I'm telling my Uber driver to chill out. I'm good, buddy. I've allotted enough time for us to go the speed limit. I just want to get there. It's fine. I'm not in a rush. Let's just go slow. And I know there might be some financial incentive to go fast. Totally get it. That's why I don't want to compromise your money. Just want to start a side business. Just go slow. It's almost like a horse-drawn carriage slow.
So instead of Uber, it's called Foghat because they sang Slow Ride.
Yeah, and they're partners in it. And when they pull up and they know you're there, it's not like drop off Kevin. It just starts slow ride. and they come out and they're like,
and they factor in how much longer it's going to take.
Oh yeah,
it's part of the price.
Oh totally. It's like, oh, you need to go somewhere. It's going to be an hour. It's like, okay, great. I'd rather have a chill hour than a stressful 45 minutes.
All right, I'm going to give you a palate cleanser.
All right.
My daughter had soccer this weekend, and whether it's soccer or lacrosse, sometimes baseball, not really baseball as much, but the ones where outdoors where parents are standing, especially this game yesterday was at I think it started at 10 o'clock, but you knew the sun was going to become a factor. And the parents are on one side, the coaches are on the other side. The dream scenario, if you're the parent, is you're facing the sun. So you can get actual sun on your face. You can wear a hat, whatever, but you can at least get The worst case scenario is the sun's at your back, and you got to put lotion on your back and on your neck.
You have a shirt on or no?
You have a shirt on. Yeah, you got to.
I don't know. You got just shirtless.
You got to put like lotion on the back of your neck, or you got to, wear a hat and turn around. Or what a lot of parents do is they'll bring an umbrella, and then they'll hold an umbrella to block the sun. But now you have these umbrellas that, the umpire's running by the sidelines. There's umbrellas poking out. There's umbrellas everywhere. It's like an umbrella frenzy.
Umbrellas, like Mary Poppins.
It just seems like there's a better way to do this, where we've had youth sports for the last, I don't know, 40, 50, 60. I don't know how long we've been having soccer with parents on the sidelines, but we've all just kind of settled on the umbrella thing, and that's the only way out. What about like a sweatshirt or a jacket that has a built-in like little umbrella that pops up? So you're getting the shade, but it's close to your body. It's attached. And it's almost like a little pseudo umbrella / oversized hood that goes over you. So you're blocking the sun, but you're also not intruding on other people's personal space.
Is it a visibility thing? You don't like the umbrellas because you can't see the game because someone has a big golf umbrella there?
Yeah, because here's the thing. People will have an umbrella, but they'll be like, I'm going to bring an umbrella. And then they'll bring like a golf umbrella that you would use at the Masters or some giant umbrella. And then it's like it's an umbrella that's big enough, maybe one other person can fit underneath it. But if I have my own little personal mini umbrella, now I'm just worried. Now it's just for me. I'm just worried about me, and I'm also not. It's not jutting out. I'm not worried about poking somebody in an eye. I'm not holding it. I don't have to hold it on the sidelines. I mean, I'm outside in the sun for an hour and a half holding an umbrella. That's stupid. So it's like a hoodie crossed with an umbrella. You just kind of pop it on, and that's it. Looks like a jetpack almost.
Is everyone standing? Because all of my kids' soccer games, there's it's a lawn chair culture.
I think it depends on how competitive the games are.
Oh, I'm not supposed to. Wow, bad parent, I guess.
No, I think when it gets older and the games get intense, you want to stand. It's like being at a concert when it's like the encore. Like you're not going to sit.
Really?
Yeah, it gets intense.
You have seats in an NBA arena. You're sitting there.
I may or may not pace the sideline a little bit like Bobby Knight.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I just have a lot of energy. I get nervous, especially like if we had a come from behind win yesterday. Like I get nervous. I don't want to sit. I'm going to sit.
So you're pacing the sidelines with your umbrella. That's why you're running into multiple umbrellas.
I do not have the umbrella. We got scolded yesterday by the linesman because one of the umbrellas is poking out. He almost got hit by the umbrella. That's what made me think about it. That we need personal hoodie umbrellas, and then that would be better for everybody involved. Let's take a quick break. All right, we're back. Kevin Wild's Half-Baked Ideas. I guess this is your third and a half one. Fourth one, technically.
Yeah, what do I got here? Oh, maybe you like this one. What's your take on the NBA mid-season tournament?
You know me, I love dumb ideas with the NBA. I've probably pitched more of them than any other human being that has a platform. And I can't wrap my head around how the mid-season tournament works, what the incentive would be, why the players would care, unless it was just like, $50 million for the winning team.
Okay. So I don't think this gets us over the finish line, but just for the thought experiment of it. I think when it was announced or when it was kind of like floated, they talked about it was called like the Commissioner's Cup or something like that, right? It was some sort of like another trophy. Everyone kept on talking about you could play for another trophy.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, I don't know, another trophy, I don't know. So here's where I think it got off on the wrong foot, that it can gain some momentum. There's too many trophies, right? Especially if you're a professional athlete, you've been getting trophies since you were 6 years old. You don't need another trophy. You're just not into it. What people do like, wearable trophies, are totally underrated. Championship belts, championship rings, gold medals, green jackets, crowns, the turnover chain. You need a trophy that you can wear.
Mm.
So I was kicking it around, and those are all taken. They're largely accessories. So I was like, championship watch. Just a great watch. Doesn't have to be super expensive, but it's unique. And it's a trophy you can wear around. It's different from the Larry O'Brien trophy. It's not the championship ring. It's cool. It's a championship watch. Half-baked. Half-baked, but it's something. I mean, it's something.
All right. There's a twist to this. They used to do this in the 60s in the NBA.
Oh, you know what? I've seen like old Lakers watches for sale on some auction site.
There's, instead of championship rings, the Celtics won so many times in a row that, the picture of Bill Russell, the famous picture with him in the 11 rings.
Yeah.
It's actually a bullshit picture because unless they retroactively gave him rings for the other seasons, there were seasons where there were no rings and they would get like a watch. Or I think there was one year they might have even just gotten a plate. But the thing is, the reason I know this is because in the memorabilia world, getting those watches is like a big deal because they're engraved for the player and stuff like that. And I'm with you. The World Series of Poker bracelet.
Oh, bracelet. Yeah, good call.
That and the green jacket are probably the two best things. Stanley Cup, it's like probably the best trophy that we have. But you get a day with it, and then you have to give it up. And then I look at I don't know if you know this, but the Patriots have won a few Super Bowls this century.
I saw that
I think
on the news.
Something like 5, 6, 7. I can't even remember the exact number at this point. But every year they try to outdo the ring. And the thing is they can't wear the ring because the ring is so heavy and gigantic. It's like you can't do anything with your hand. You might as well be wearing like a fucking metal claw. So what they should do is it should be like a necklace, like when you land in Hawaii and they put the lei around you. It should be a necklace like that with the ring dangling from it, which I think a couple players have done. So anyway, I'm with you.
Mr. Big did it in Sex and the City too. It was like, not good.
There you go. So
not Mr. Big, the other guy.
Kyle, what would you rather have? You win the title. We win the title for the BS podcast this year. Would you rather have a watch, a necklace with a ring on it,
or a straight up ring,
a bracelet?
This is my first title.
It's your first title. You'd want
Probably
the ring.
Bracelet. Yeah.
Like a World Series of Poker bracelet?
Exactly, yeah. Classy like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think we're doing rings and trophies correctly because the other thing with the rings, I've talked to players about this on the podcast. It's all about got to get that ring, and then you get it and you put it in a safety deposit box and you never do anything with it. It's idiotic.
No.
It's like, what happened to your ring? Oh, it's at my bank. You have to talk to a guy named Victor and then put in a 10 combination safe to open it. So yeah, that's what I spent the last year fighting for. Yeah, I'm with you. I like the bracelet in there. All right, what's the next one?
All right. Okay, this is stupid. So this is called conversation peace of mind. So when we lived in the city, we lived up the street from a meteorite shop. They sold meteors, not meteors, they're too hot. Meteorites, fossils, things like that. And I was never into fossils, but you can only walk past the meteorite shop so many times. You're like, all right, enough. I'll go into the fossil shop. So walking to the fossil shop, and they got a T-Rex tooth in there. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a cool T-Rex tooth. I think it was like $3,000, $2,800 they would have sales, which is way too much for just a nothing item, but at the same time, not so prohibitively expensive that I don't still want it. So I was talking to my wife, I was like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this T-Rex tooth. She's like, what? I'm like, it'd be a good conversation. It'd be an all-time conversation piece.
Yeah.
That it would be a piece of furniture. It's not just it's like, you're not doing that, obviously. I'm like, yeah, I know. But what if you could rent these conversation pieces, having a house party? You don't want to talk about work. You don't want to talk about your kids. Nothing else to talk about in the world. Need some conversation pieces. Oh, hello. Look at me. Got a T-Rex tooth here. I got Babe Ruth's ashtray. I got Abraham Lincoln's top hat. I got something from a caveman. I got Phoebe's acoustic guitar from Friends. Got Secretariat's horseshoe. I got an old Lakers ring from the old championship that Bill got. Rental. Now just do the quick math. T-Rex 2 cost $2,800 for 30 years. Lay it out. $93 a year. $93 a year. It's $7.75 a month, which means it's 25 cents a day to own the T-Rex tooth.
And you have it for 2 years. You give it back.
No, just for a weekend. You're having a house party. You get a few of these. I can give you $20. Had the T-Rex tooth. Oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, things are going good. Have you ever seen this T-Rex tooth? Oh, yeah, hold it. Everyone leaves your party. That Bill Simmons, interesting guy. Not just sports, he's into fossils too.
Did you return it on Monday?
Yeah, I have to go get it. Yeah, I send the guy to go get it from you. Or
That's
you
pretty
can give
good.
an additional day if you want.
So you're tapping into something that is. Kara Swisher was on my podcast a couple weeks ago, and we talked about this a little bit, about the concept of renting stuff, where I think she was the one that said it, or maybe I heard it somewhere else about, was it about renting clothes?
Everything. She's like,
yeah.
We're just going to rent everything.
Why can't we rent clothes? Like,
yeah, my wife does rent the runway. She just gets a big trunk full of stuff, and she's like, looks awesome. And she sends it back.
Because we rent.
It's like renting a tux, but every day.
Yeah, we rent tuxedos, but let's say Kyle's going to a fancy party where you wouldn't wear a tuxedo, but you get to wear a nice suit. Kyle doesn't want to buy a, $2,500 suit. He just wants a suit where he'll look awesome for, one night. Why can't you do that? Or maybe you can, and I'm not aware of it. But
you can. It's just not.
I'm all for this because you can rent cars, you can rent tuxes, you can rent boats, you can rent a helicopter. But I can't rent like a Tom Ford suit for one day.
Or Al Capone's shoes that you just want on yourself. That's interesting.
Al Capone's body parts.
Just interesting stuff. So you go in, you just have interesting stuff.
You've done this before with half-baked ideas. Some of your ideas center around impressing people that are at your house for a party.
That's not true.
No. You had a couple in the past. You had the eBay house that time where everything in the house was available.
That's DiBiase house.
DiBiase
got a price.
So, you know that one, Kyle?
No.
It's everything in the house has a price tag and a scanner. So if you're at my house and you're like, wow, I really like that plate. You just scan it. It's like $49.99. You just take it. You leave. DiBiase house. That was a good one.
Everybody's got a price.
I'm all for like renting everything. I think that's a great idea. Maybe I could rent a soccer umbrella jacket. I have one. This is stolen from my daughter. My daughter and I were driving in the car once for soccer, and she got this text, and she goes, "Oh no!" So I look over on the phone. And you know how when you get a text from somebody, it could say like Wilds or Kyle. But then sometimes there will be like a group name for the text, right? This group name was called Post Patrol. I'm like, what's Post Patrol? She said her and a bunch of her friends from school last year, they had this text thread where if they were going to post something on Instagram, they kind of sent it to the other 4 friends to make sure they should post it or not. It was like this committee of, should I post this picture of, me in a bathing suit? Is this too over the top? Send it to the friends, and the friends would be like, no, don't post that one. That's too over the top. Or no, there's a prettier picture of you or whatever. Post Patrol. I think this is a business. So you get, maybe not everybody has a group of friends like what Zoe has. But maybe there's a little committee and you sign up, you have, let's say you're in the 7th grade. There's these 4 7th graders that are your Post Patrol. They get assigned to you and you send them the pictures. Maybe you don't want your friends to have input on your pictures. You want them to be surprised. So you want outsiders, friends for hire. Post Patrol, you post the pictures. They give you feedback. What are those things when you can change what the picture looks like? The filters.
Yeah, filter. Yeah, sure.
They'd be like, "Mom, maybe you should use a dramatic cool filter or whatever the thing is." Or Photoshop that out. I wouldn't put from your knees down. And they give you feedback, Post Patrol, and then you post the picture. It's like
I'll go a step further.
$2.99 a month.
I think it should be mandatory when you sign up for Twitter that you have to run it up. That you have a few editors.
Oh, Twitter editors.
Yeah, it's mandatory. Like you sign up, it's like, hey, to make sure this Twitter community is the best it can be. Like there's, you have to be a part of this editing process. You get 3 people, and it's just like, no, you spelled there wrong. That's bottom line. It's like, hey, no, that's the worst thing I've ever read in my life. That's gone. So it's mandatory.
No, you did an Alex Jones tweet last week. Not worth it. Don't do a second one. Wait 3 more weeks.
Mandatory.
Twitter editors.
I like that. I think that's great.
You like Post Patrol?
I think it's fantastic.
The problem is,
I like anything that's sort of like, I think social media just in general needs another layer of like, I don't know. I think Post Patrol works perfectly.
The problem with Post Patrol is it would succeed early and then lead to a scandal, as it turns out that it's like a bunch of 35-year-old guys pretending to be 13-year-old girls. Like something goes wrong.
I'm talking about it's for everybody. It's for like politicians have Post Patrol. Everyone has it.
The president? No, he wouldn't get it. Probably not. I love you just dead silence whenever the president. Wow, comedy killer.
No.
Wilds is like, I'm not saying anything.
Nothing nice to say.
What's your next half-baked idea?
Gloober, it's called. This is similar to Rebounder for Hire. New York Times article on Canadian Adult League rec hockey. Everybody in Canada plays rec hockey. There's not enough goalies. So the goalies are mercenaries. The goalies get paid $50. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. The goalies are actually like kind of professional goalies, but everyone else is playing rec. Like this works for, so at first it was an idea about basketball. So like when I'm playing basketball, I'm not shooting well. I just turn into like glue guy. I'm like, yeah, I'll set picks.
Yeah.
I'll like rebound. I'll dive on the ground and give you the ball. But like when I come home, it's not like, it's like, how's basketball? Like, yeah, awesome. Set a lot of picks, spread the floor, and let other people shine. It's like, it's not great. Like I'd like to outsource that work. So that's the idea. Like you bring a guy in, they do all that stuff. They will also raise their hand for an additional fee and be like, oh, it's my bad, when it's actually your fault. It's like, no, my bad. It's like, okay.
So it's like a basketball handyman.
Yeah, he just, my bad. He's like, totally your fault. Like you threw the pass. He's like, I should have been faster. That's my bad. So you're all talk. But I actually thought this would be better. I was also kicking around an idea called home field advantage, where it's just like the power of positivity and good vibes. So then I was like, oh, maybe Gloober works better outside of sports and in like the corporate atmosphere. So suppose you're having like a big meeting. I suppose you're not you though. You're not the ringer. Suppose you're like a bunch of like, let's say we're like airplane mechanics, right? The airplane mechanics are there because they're the best airplane mechanics. They're not necessarily like rah-rah guy. Maybe they are. Maybe it's a rah-rah team. Maybe it's not. But if you're going to have a big meeting, it's helpful to have the rah-rah person in there. And you can't say, oh, yeah, well, we have, Tyler. He's not a great airplane mechanic, but he's a great rah-rah guy. Like, well, that doesn't work. Like, he's got to be mechanic first. So you outsource the rah-rah guy. You outsource the glue guy, Gloober. Gloober comes in for the airplane mechanics. You're having a big meeting. And Gloober's like, hey, first of all, I just want to say you guys are doing an awesome job. Awesome job. Like the way you did that tire, Todd, that was really good. He has no idea what he's talking about, but he's just glue guy. He's making everybody like feel good about themselves. Gloober.
You could have that for pickup soccer too. Guys in the middle.
100% work.
Yeah. I like that one. That's a good one.
Gloober.
Hey, we should mention just a quick aside for half-baked ideas that we created the Purge franchise.
No, you created that.
No, we created it together. Didn't we?
You created that for February 29th. You wanted like leap year chaos.
Yeah, my half-baked idea was that leap year happens every 4 years, and it's one of those things that maybe we just remove it from the calendar completely, and there's no record of it, and anything can happen. And there are no rules. And you got really freaked out when I did that one.
Well,
and
I'm just more of a positive, happy fella.
I was just like, hey, for one day, anything can happen. And I think they took that idea and turned it into the Purge. I think somebody heard. I'm convinced. It's basically the same premise, right? Leap year, there are no rules. It's the one day. I was saying there would be no electricity, and the purge happened.
Swim with dolphins, in the tank, do anything. That would be the giveaway. It's like, well, there's a dolphin in the tank.
All right, next half-baked idea.
There's another social media. You want to hear a social media idea, or do you want to hear a Thanksgiving idea?
Thanksgiving. Kyle's favorite holiday.
It's called Thanksgiving or Treat.
Okay.
So Halloween's. Oh, I did some research for this. 2005, $3.3 billion spent on Halloween. 2018, $9 billion. 2019, last year, $100 billion. That's not true. I made that last part. Anyways, it just tripled from $3.3 billion to $9 billion. And Halloween, it's like a lot of, obviously, like outside decorations have really taken off. It's like right there with Christmas. I think Thanksgiving I've already got my extension cords out. Thanksgiving needs to get into it. Like more Thanksgiving lights. I don't know where it is. I don't know what colors are available, but I've got my extension cords out. I just want to put up some Thanksgiving lights and then transfer right into Christmas. Thanksgiving lights. Kyle, you buying them?
I'm in. I'm 100%.
Kyle, you just made Kyle hungry. He started thinking about stuffing and the lions at 9:30 in the morning.
So once the lights are up, get this. The one problem with Thanksgiving, you're in the house too long and there's too much food. Two problems.
Yeah.
At the end of Thanksgiving, it's like Halloween, where you go and trick or treat around your neighborhood, and you're switching out desserts. You're tired of being in your house. You've been with the same people for a long time. There's too many desserts. Like, you know what? Let's walk the neighborhood. It's also good exercise for everybody, and this becomes a tradition.
It's pretty solid.
Just walk around. Just knock on the door. It's like, hey, how are you? What do you got? Oh, great. Boston cream pie. That's fantastic. I've got this. Maybe it's more trading, less just giving.
I like the trading.
And it adds some energy to your house. Come on in. Just switches it up a little bit. You got to the group's getting a little stale. We're on hour 14 here. Like, let's mix it up. That's an idea.
We're taking another break. So I was thinking about the Thanksgiving lights. There has to be some sort of half-baked idea for people like my dad that do not take their tree down until like April. But I don't know the idea. Maybe one of the listeners will have a suggestion for that. Or the people that keep the lights on until like February, or the lights outside their house for the holidays until like February 15th.
We're starting to become that. It's like, it just looks better.
Yeah, it's like maybe just keep them year round.
It just looks better. Like, I'm not going to, like when the lights come off of my house, I'm like, boring house.
All right, I got one for you.
Go.
This is called the Pander Fantasy League. So, noticed on social media, there's people out there. I'm not going to call any names.
This is going to be terrible. I'm not going to comment on this one. I can tell this is going.
There's there's people out there where kind of the art for them is to tackle certain subjects in a way that there's kind of no counter to what the point is. It's all win, no losses. Like, I noticed it during the U.S. Women's World Cup. People just love the U.S. women's team. Any positive tweet about the women's team is a win, right? So then there becomes an art to, how do I make my tweet stand out that is kind of that pandering tweet where I just seem like a good person because I like this U.S. women's team so much. Now we have a fantasy league, and I'm not sure how we score the tweets, but it's for stuff like that. It's for stuff where Boogie Cousins gets injured and everybody's got to do their tweets about how sad it is and upsetting it is and all that. Now we're grading the tweets based on, oh man, who really captured the moment? Who pandered the best? Who is our best panderer on the Boogie Cousins ACL injury? I don't know. It's a half-baked idea. I don't know how we would score it. Just dead silence from you?
Can I give you a happier Twitter idea?
Sure.
more uplifting idea.
Yeah. What was the Women's World Cup? That was uplifting.
Yeah, I know, but you're like, passing judgment on the authenticity of people's enthusiasm.
I'm not passing judgment. I just think there's a certain style on Twitter where it's like, oh, Federer and Nadal are playing. I'm gonna just stroke myself for the next 4 hours on Twitter, and there's no counter to it. So this is just a free 4 hours for me to just basically Twitter masturbation.
Mine's called Truman Show Twitter.
Okay. What's
Happy
that?
Trolls. Happy Trolls. Suppose you're an NBA team. You've seen this come up, like, have a bad game, social media attacks you. This guy's no good, almost like a Markelle Fultz thing. Just there's a lot of pressure to perform well at all times, and you always hear like, oh, there used to just be one beat writer, covering the Sacramento Kings, but now you've got millions of people mad at you because you went 0 for 13 that game. But this is similar to the Glover idea. Truman Show Twitter is just an angry of reform trolls.
Yeah.
Maybe that are like, you call it like, oh, somebody had a bad game. Can you bombard them with like, great job, man. Hey, you got to shoot out of it. Well, I know you're 0 for 13, but you got to keep shooting. Shoot or shoot. Let's go.
We believe in you.
Do it.
Yeah.
We believe in you. It's just like the guy logs on after like the worst game. He feels terrible. His mom's calling. He's like, don't worry, he just gets one text from his mom. It's like, you're okay, I believe in you. And he's like, oh. He's like, it just feels bad. And he goes on to Twitter, and there's just like all these thumbs up emoticons and like, you can do it, and like happy gifts.
So like the Red Sox bullpen when it was falling apart April, May, it's just people texting Ryan Brazier being like, the light bulb is almost on, baby. Keep firing strikes. It's going to turn. You got this.
And you're using all the same techniques that, the Russian trolls use, but you're just switching it around just to be good, just to be happy and positive.
The pander
Army of positivity. Truman Show Twitter. It's all controlled. Your whole Twitter is now like, I call it Truman Show. It's like it's all manufactured. And he's just helping you play better basketball.
The Pander Fantasy League? It's like, here's a video of somebody giving up their first class seat to an old person. It's the kind of thing that makes you realize America is great. Be like, whoa, so that's like a 92. Add that to their fantasy rankings.
It's terrible.
Great stuff. Twitter Pander Fantasy League. America's with me. All right, what's your next half-baked idea?
All right. They show a lot of basketball at once. So, in the movies when like the character who's just getting on the straight and narrow like runs into like his old buddies at the mall. They're like, "Oh, hey, Brandon." Like, oh, and it's like the guys that he used to like do drugs with. Like, "Hey, man, we're going down to the old, spelunking hole. Do you want to come?" He's like, no, it's not me. He's like so stressed out. He starts sweating. It's just like classic scene in every movie. That's sort of like, he's like trying not to do it, is trying his hardest not to like fall back into that trap, but he's an addict. So when I go into Home Goods and I go into the distressed wooden signs, that's me. It's like the distressed wooden signs with like beautiful calligraphy that has little sayings about like friendship and family, like, or like something about how you need your morning Joe. Like, don't talk to me. I need my coffee. But it's on a beautiful sign. I want all of those. I just want to buy them all. And I actively am like stopping myself from doing it. I start like sweating in the line. Excuse this mess. Memories being made. Yeah. I just love it. Hey, friendships like the stars. You don't always see them, but you know they're there. Like, I just love it. I'm like, yes, I need that. I should be in the bathroom. Like, why wouldn't you put that up there? The kids need to learn this. So I'm like, but I don't want to become the guy that just buys all the signs at Home Goods. So anyways, that's inside of me and I recognize it. So I'm like, all right, I need an outlet for this. Like, where else has there been these sort of like, how can I temper this? How I want these things in my life. And then I thought about these old And One shirts. Do you remember the And One shirts? It was like a shirtless, muscular model, but it was he was playing basketball and he would be saying the meanest things to you.
Right.
Like, oh, here's $5. Go buy a jump shot, you little jerk. And that would be on the shirt. So you'd be playing a guy. You're like, huh? Like, what's wrong? You motherfucker, that's a game. I'm like, oh, okay. Yikes. So like, oh, maybe I can make a shirt with that. All right, Kyle, now you have to show Bill what I texted you.
Oh.
I texted, full story, I had one of these made from a graphic designer on Fiverr just to see what it would look like. And I sent it to Kyle to show Bill. Bill, you have to read it.
It says, a friend is one of the nicest things you can have and one of the best things you can be. And it's a picture of somebody with an 8-pack dribbling a basketball.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice?
So
I could wear that, and people would be like, "Oh, cool, man." I think people would like that.
So we'll put that on Instagram so people can see it.
Yeah.
So you're basically, this was, remember in Forrest Gump, the "Have a Nice Life" T-shirts with the smiley face.
Have a good, yeah.
Was then or "Have a Good Day"? What was it? "Have a Good Day."
Yeah, it's like yes, yeah. He invented it when he was running in the mud.
And then that was ludicrous, by the way. But then it led to this whole like kind of happy slogan thing. You're saying, let's go to the next level with these.
Well, I just don't want it to be so saccharine. I got the guy there. The guy's tough. The guy's like, hey, I'm still tough. I don't like home goods calligraphy signs, distressed wooden signs. I'm playing basketball. Just balances it out. Takes some of the sting off of it.
That one's pretty good. I do like that.
I like it.
No, I do like that one.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
I have one for you.
Yeah.
So all of these athletes are getting into content now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're forming their own companies. And, and in some cases, like LeBron has Maverick. KD has Rich Kleiman. Steph has Jaron, who's a really nice guy. Some of them have their guys, right? And their guys, they're just thinking about how can I leverage this guy's star and the connections he has and the people who want to get in the room with them, and we'll just create content and we'll produce documentaries, we'll do all this stuff. Some stars don't have that person, right? Maybe they just never had the Rich Kleiman pass through their life, or they never grew up with somebody or whatever. They don't have their cousin who's into it, or they never met a producer at a party and just hit it off or whatever.
Yeah, they haven't clicked with something. Yeah, they don't have their sort of partner in crime.
They don't have that person. Well,
yep.
Now we're gonna form a school. You know how like USC has like the School of Journalism, or like Northwestern has like the sports media, the school Adande teaches at. This program, let's say there's a program at UCLA, and it's basically to become the guy for famous athlete. And you take all these courses and you learn all these different pieces of the business about, how to make a documentary, how to be on a panel and talk about storytelling, how to study from media companies that have been successful. And you arm this person with information, and then it's like a mix and match with athletes who don't have their guy. That's all I have. Half-baked idea.
I'm going to say, unfortunately, so this happens every once in a while. We didn't really go over this part of the half-baked ideas. When an idea is not a half-baked idea, it's just an idea. So obviously, like having indoor whitewater rafting, that's half-baked. That is actually just a good idea.
Oh, wow.
And because of that, it's terrible.
You're disqualifying it. It was too fully baked.
It's just a normal idea. Like I've got normal ideas too. I don't bring them up to the podcast. That's a great idea. I think that's just a solid idea, rather than going up the chain from like a production assistant. Like this job is to amplify and showcase star athletes and their storytelling abilities in a very bespoke, good word, Kevin, in a bespoke way that you've been trained for. So you can come right out and be ready to go. Yeah, it works. That just works. That just plain old works.
I apologize. I left that one in the oven too long and it actually cooked.
Yeah, don't do that one.
Yeah, it's
that
my
one
bad. My bad. I'm gonna rescind that idea. All right, what do you have? Last one?
All right, last one. Shark Tanks for movies? No. Hold on. We'll go. Let's. Chaosville, beer flight pot, Father and Claw. All right. I think the best one is. All right. This one actually works too.
Okay.
It doesn't have a clever name. It's just called Kids Movies for Kids. So I was somewhere with my kid, and we saw some Batman thing, and he's like, "Oh, Dad, I want to go see that." I don't know if it's Batman, Superman. It's a long time ago. And out of my mouth, I was like, "No, that's for grown-ups." And his little brain was like started to like melt and like fall out of his ears. He's like, that's for grown-ups? Like, I'm in a full Batman gear. I've got Batman sheets. Like, that's not for grown-ups. This is my thing. I'm like, it's PG-13. So I got it. And he was like frustrated that he can't see any of these movies that were originally meant for kids. They're action movies. They're for children. So, but I get it. The financial structure and blah, blah, big audience, blah, blah, blah. But why don't you make these movies kid-friendly? They do it with books. Just make everything that comes out has to be G-rated, and it's 50 minutes. And
it's
you start
edited.
showing them at 7 o'clock in the morning when kids are up and you want to do something. And you're running it. 7, 8, now you're running on the hour. So you're getting, you can't show it past 7 or 6 p.m. is probably your last showing, but you're getting 11 showings in there. You're only showing half the movie. It just has to barely make sense. They're just eating popcorn anyways. They just want to see something, but there's no killing. It's G-rated. Plain, simple, it's nice. It's like even more G-rated than the TV version. Kids movies for kids. And you're churning them. Every movie, it's a kids movie now.
So
kids
you do
movies for
like,
kids.
so Boogie Nights, which is like 2.5 hours.
No, not Boogie Nights.
No, you edit
God
that
almighty.
into like a 50-minute kids movie.
No, gosh,
that's a bad idea.
Not about 70s filmmaking. No, just about like Guardians of the Galaxy. I just can't have. It can't be too scary or too loud. G-rated.
What about Fatal Attraction? That doesn't work either.
Oh, this guy. See now the dynamic of it is like you say outrageous things to ruin my ideas. This is $1 million.
No, that is a good idea. So you're saying there are YouTube clips out there where they'll just be like edited the best parts of a movie, right? So you're just saying this is like the greatest hits of the movie. It's 50 minutes instead of 2.5 hours, and you're in and you're out. I would say that the problem is the director, I think, would have an issue.
Oh, give me a break.
His mutilated cut.
The director, it's for a 4-year-old. The director. God, I'm like, no.
Do you know?
You can buy a children's book. It's 7 pages long about Spider-Man or about Iron Man. But it's not like, the nuclear things and what are you doing? It's like, huh? I'm like, no, dude, you're good and the other people are bad. You're flying around. End of story.
Do you know?
1-syllable words.
There's a half-baked idea that actually really happened out here in LA when my wife, when she had our daughter, the Grove movie theater, I think it was on like Tuesdays in the morning, they would have these Mommy and Me events. And it was basically, the concept of it was moms don't have time to go to the movies because they're stuck with their kid all day. So they actually called it Mommy and Me. And it was a movie theater where you had to bring your kid and they would blare the movie. So if there was a kid crying in row 2, like it didn't matter because the movie was so freaking loud. And my wife and Sal's wife would go with their 2 small children to Mommy and Me on Tuesdays and go see movies that they had kind of wanted to see or weren't able to see or whatever. And it would just be super loud in there. And my wife actually enjoyed this. It was
That's
like
great.
her way to go to a movie. I
think like sometimes I'm going to see a movie, like if we see Toy Story, we're going to see the movie. Like they're selling me a piece of art and I'm consuming it perfectly. Other times movie theaters are selling me a place to get out of the rain.
Yeah.
And I'm more like, hey, you're just it's raining. I need to get out of the house. I got a 5-year-old. We just got to be somewhere else. I don't care what it is. You need 50 minutes. Like, let's go in and out.
Where do you stand on Sinopolises? Because it feels like those are half-baked ideas that actually happened and became real things. Have you been to a Sinopolis? Do they have those in the East Coast?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a movie theater where it's like big recliner seats.
Oh.
You have a menu. There's waiters walking around. You can buzz people. They're bringing food. They're bringing drinks. They're bringing you everything. It's like being at a restaurant movie theater. It's a little weird.
I don't know. I am in on drive-ins. There's a drive-in Connecticut we went to at one time. So if you're going to do all I'm in for non-traditional movie experiences, I guess. But if the industry is looking to invest money, I'm like pro drive-in. Just cooler.
I don't know what happened to drive-ins. They were a huge part of at least my childhood. And then now they're gone. I don't even think there's one within an hour of LA. I have another half-baked idea based on an idea I just thought of as you were talking about that. Your idea.
Oh boy, this is going to be great.
No, there was It 2 is coming out. And
yes,
there's an It 2 pop-up whole carnival place in Hollywood right now in Hollywood and Vine. That Kyle's probably, have you been to it, Kyle?
I walked past it.
You walked past it, you didn't go in?
Didn't go in.
My son loves it. I think it was his favorite movie of 2 years ago. His favorite movie this year is Good Boys. My son, he's always ahead of his time with whatever he's watching, much to everybody's chagrin. But he's really excited for It 2, and he really wanted to go to the It 2 carnival, but it's 18 and over.
Yeah.
No kids, because it's scary. But my son still really wanted to go, and my wife and I were joking about trying to figure out how to dress him up so it would just seem like he was an adult, just a really short adult. He's 5 feet tall now. And what
the old could be on your shoulders, an old trench coat.
No, just but is there a place where there's some makeup / wardrobe place? It's a store, and I bring my son in. I'm like, can you make my son look 22? And they dress him differently. They give him maybe some facial hair, some glasses. They soup him up so that by the time it's done, he just looks like a short 22-year-old dude.
Yeah, you live in LA. You could make him look like a dragon if you wanted to.
Right.
So how much money you want to spend for him to walk around and see a scary clown? You're going to spend $2,000.
Well, does it have to be $2,000 though? What if it's a $50 makeover?
No, you got to get a full Mission Impossible flesh mask.
Flesh mask?
Yeah, like Tom Cruise rips it off. It's it's me, Ben. Why don't you? It's probably easier. I don't know. That one, yeah. There's Hollywood makeup people.
All right. Well, that's why it was a half-baked idea. I felt like after I did a fully baked idea, I had to come back and finish trying with a half-baked idea.
Yeah, that balanced it out because one was 98% done, the other one was 3. Actually over.
The other thing I was thinking was, I think we have to, there's a new whole bottled water shaming thing that's happening right now. Are you aware of this? This might just be an LA thing. It'll trickle down to the other states. Everything starts here in San Francisco.
About consumption of plastic or about actual water?
Because plastic bottles are terrible, and we have more plastic bottles in our life than ever. And
totally agree.
A couple times we've done podcasts where we've had plastic bottled water things on the table, and I've noticed in the replies to the Instagram post, people hey man, you really got to cool it with those bottled waters. By the way, huge points in the Pander Fantasy League. But was thinking those, they make those, you see them at Costco or you see them at Target or at Dick's Sporting Goods, those awesome metal water things. Because my daughter loves these. This is what she goes to soccer. She has this 32-ounce awesome $35 cooler thing. But it feels like we've just scratching the surface on how those should go. And what's the next level as we all combine to get rid of bottled water and make the planet safer, which we should. What is the next iteration of those awesome $35 whatever thingies? I don't know. I'm throwing that out there.
A canteen? You want to bring canteens back?
Canteens, but I feel like it's a combo of that idea you had earlier with the T-shirts, with the slogans. There's a way to make them happier, and maybe you get matching sets, and or you get like team logos. Like I could have like a Celtics awesome cooler. And then when we're doing the rewatchables, I have my nice, awesome 32-ounce Celtics cooler thingy. Something there. I don't know. That's like a quarter-baked idea.
Yeah, you're talking about a glass of water? Is that where we got to? What glass of water?
Well, what are those things called? What are those things called that Zoe drinks? Those giant 32
Hydro
ounce.
flask? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the hydro flask.
I don't know the hydro flask.
Yeah, this is like a thing for, especially if you see soccer, a lot of people have the hydro flask, instead of just bringing like a big bottle of smart water thing. So, all right, Kevin Wildes, we're back. This is happening. It was long overdue. We did one, I remember in the Super Bowl, and House was the third party, and I thought House had some good, next time we do this, we got to have House involved.
Excellent.
Because there's got to be a food one too. He gets all excited. He starts groaning. It'll be good. Wildes, this was a pleasure. Thank you.
This is a finishing act here. We wanted to talk about food. Specifically summer food. And we're going to play a little gimmick. Uh-oh. House and Mallory are going to count down from 5 to 1 their favorite summer foods. And then Russillo and I are going to decide whose list we liked more.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
He sprung it on us. He didn't tell us it was going to go down like this.
I told you to come up with 5 foods.
I have 5. Don't worry.
Mallory, you go first. Your 5th choice.
Okay. My 5th favorite summer food is soup. Allow me to explain.
This is the weirdest start to any segment we've done.
And I want to clarify, not gazpacho. No.
We don't count gazpacho
I love
as soup.
gazpacho.
Gazpacho is delicious,
It's
but
not a
I
soup.
want to be clear that this is
Fishy
not
slaw?
a seasonal specific
Okay.
cheat pick. Hot soup, boiling soup, a vat of it, if I can get it. Tender greens switch from the cup to the bowl, and I get
Yeah.
2 of them.
It's like a
for
vat.
lunch. 2. It's like a bucket. Here's why. Soup is delicious. I don't like constructs. I don't like living my life by anyone else's rules other than Bill's and Sean's. And why should somebody tell me that it's no longer soup season?
So you're
Soup
going
can
against the
come whenever
grain.
I want. Yeah, soup in the summer represents to me agency, free will, empowerment, and it's also delicious. Variety every day.
All right. Russillo, what'd you think of that choice?
I was not expecting that.
House, you're up.
It's
Number
literally a
5.
hot take.
Number 5.
My number 5, I'm going right down the middle. I'm starting with delicious summer corn. And I have a very particular
Oh, you got some
way
applause for
that
the
I
corn.
recommend.
No, he didn't.
The corn guy back
He got one confused moan.
What's confusing about summer corn? It's the best. You do it on the grill. You must have a minimum of 3 cobs. It's a 3 cob minimum because the first 2 cobs, as soon as they come off the grill, they're going down. There's just no...
You're not even like savoring them or anything.
No. You get that nice char. You might have it wrapped up in some foil. You might roast it inside of its own wrapping. As soon as it comes out, the first one, I'm not putting anything on it. No butter, no salt. The first one, I'm getting the fresh summer mouthful. It's all the way down. The second one, butter and salt, that's just to sate the enjoyment. I'm experiencing summer in my mouth. The third cob is for slicing. You've roasted 3, you've had 2. You're cutting off the kernels and setting them aside for your 10:30 snack, your 10:30 corn snack. This is what summer tastes like.
All right. So we've done one already. Who has the advantage
Wait,
right now?
can I offer?
You have a rebuttal?
feedback?
You want a rebuttal?
Well, now that I know it's a competition, which I did not know until we got up here.
I like to not tell you things.
I would just like to compliment Joe on the extremely phallic, not only imagery and verbiage, but hand motions. Thank you for bringing the audience into that. And I think if, by definition, you're saying that the first 2 portions are so unsatisfying that you need at a minimum a third, it's invalid as a selection. Continue. Who do you want to vote for?
Who wins so far,
That's
Russillo?
a gross mischaracterization.
Super corn.
Seriously, the description, it didn't really matter what the food was on that first round because you were so passionate about the corn.
So advantage house early. All
Corn
right.
passion.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
Corn
Mallory,
passion.
Playing from behind.
What
Your
about
fourth
you?
favorite.
Who are you voting for?
I'm not. I'm refereeing.
Oh,
Your
so
fourth
I'm gonna be
favorite
the
summer.
jerk in this whole-
Yeah, we're the jury. Fourth favorite summer food.
Chili cheese dog, specifically from Yuka's Hut in Los Feliz.
Okay.
Okay.
Literally a shack in a parking lot, right?
Yeah.
On caviar, so I can have it delivered to my home, but I know I'm getting the authentic shack in a parking lot experience without leaving my home, which is wonderful, convenient, delicious.
We ride for caviar.
Love caviar, love caviar. You're getting the summer hot dog experience, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm out at a baseball game. I got a Dodger dog. Wonderful. You're grilling your corn. Great. But I'm also being efficient because it's summer. I have a lot of choices about how I want to spend my day, a lot of things I could do. So I'm also adding the chili, the cheese.
Oh, so you're doubling up. Yeah.
Because they put a little mustard on, some onions for the texture, the crunch.
Oh, house
And
looks
then
defeated right now.
Yeah.
I also pair that with the shredded beef burrito and a carnitas taco. Excellent meal.
Jesus.
But the key in the summer is the chili cheese dog.
It's pretty good.
Strong.
House,
I love chili cheese.
Your rebuttal for your fourth pick.
I feel like I'm going to lose this one right away. I mean,
You lost the last one, but that's fine.
incorrect. I'm going in a sort of highbrow direction. I absolutely love caprese in the summer because of that combination of the you can do two different ways. You can have the burrata, you can have the buffalo milk mozzarella, however you want to do it, but paired with tomato. Tomatoes are in
Fresh
season.
tomato.
It's
Fresh
the
summer tomato.
freshest possible tomato. You can innovate also. Any kind of ripe fruit. You can do a peach caprese. You can do a fig caprese. Any kind of jammy, ripe, where the seeds are overflowing and you have that cool, delicious, salty cheese to go along with it. A little olive oil.
All right,
a
we
little
get it. Caprese.
EVOO, a little mint.
All right, Jesus.
I like how he pronounced it.
Caprese. When House talks about food, it could just go. You can just see. You can see the love, the affection,
I mean,
the care.
I'm paid to talk about food.
Russillo, would you rather have chili cheese dog or caprese?
I don't think I've ever had a chili cheese dog. Actually, I know I haven't.
Oh, wow. Caprese.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Mal. I give the advantage to
No,
you.
I actually think she
I
stole
thought
it
she'd
better.
bet. Yeah, she won round two.
Although
All right.
that olive oil pronunciation was odd, but have you ever heard
It's
it
the
pronounced that?
Evo.
No, House will do that. He's old. Mallory, your third choice?
I did like the way he said fig. Very passionate. Third choice, ice cream. Specifically, Jenny's ice cream.
Man.
Specifically, right now on the summer menu, the sweet cream with biscuits and peach jam.
So fucking good.
Perfection in a pint. Every other Sunday, I place a Postmates order for 6 to 9 pints, depending on how many flavors are on the menu at a given time. And right now,
Incredible. It's incredible.
What?
Yeah, she Postmates ice cream. This is true.
I just assumed no one did because
No.
no,
she
it's true.
doesn't.
Sometimes I'll text Bill pictures because it's really embarrassing. Like they have these freezer bags, which is great and practical, but every now and then I order so many they have to bring a box. Mortifying. Mortifying.
Can I do a quick Postmates interjection?
Please.
I ordered it today because we did a podcast, and nephew Kyle and I, we wanted like something healthy, so we did Joe the Juice. So it said, by the way, the moral of the story is Postmates is falling apart, but we'll get to that. It said my order had been delivered, but there was no guy.
Oh.
So now I open my front door, I wander out, I'm looking around, I'm texting him, there's no sign of him, 5 minutes pass. 7 minutes pass, I see somebody walking up my driveway, and it's this guy, and he's just holding 3 sandwiches and 1 juice. We'd ordered 3. And he was like, I've been in a car accident. I've lost 2 of the juices.
Oh, no.
But here's your food, sir. I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm fine. I was rear-ended.
Was there
I
any
lost 2 of the juices. I'm like, it's fine.
Where was the car?
Could not see the car.
I'm calling bullshit.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is some
Oh,
bullshit.
This seemed like a bullshit
This is some
thing, right?
Postmates bullshit right here.
Yeah. The
You
fake
tip 'em?
car accident in Postmates?
Yes.
Tip them.
I haven't tipped him yet. I wanted to get House's take.
I can't wait for Postmates to be out of business. I'm so out on Postmates. They've done a terrible, terrible job in Washington, D.C. of these grand expectations and creating this thing that's hyper easy,
Reliable.
to use,
Yeah.
and it is absolutely useless.
I feel like every startup now, though, that's like that. They're like, hey, this is a great idea. And be like, this is great, except when people start using it.
Right.
And then
it falls
like,
apart.
These fucking scooters are
Well,
everywhere.
The problem with the delivery economy is that the good thing is also the bad thing, right? So the service is better if a restaurant is exclusive to an app. That's why we like Caviar so much.
Yes.
But once other apps start doing that, like John and Vinny's going to DoorDash, now I have to download DoorDash, right? And all of this, it's like the cord cutting with cable. You need all of the apps so you can watch all of your shows. You need all the apps so that you can get all of your restaurants. But then, by definition, if they're exclusive to other apps, they can't be on Postmates. So each product is diluted.
I agree.
Sad times. House, what's your third choice? Do this one quickly.
Ballpark hot dogs.
Okay.
It starts in April.
So a
goes
less
till
good
October.
version of a thing I already said. Okay, are we on number 2?
What specific ballpark?
No, I mean there's a high competition. The Dodger dogs. I love Boston's hot dogs.
You guys pro or anti Dodger dogs?
Love Dodger dogs.
Yeah, see, they're
Love
very
'em, the steamed
polarizing.
bun.
Yeah,
I
Delicious.
like them a lot.
Why? What's the
People are
problem
Down
with
on them. I don't know.
They're great.
People down on them. I'm not sure if they're actual hot dogs. Some people are worried about the meat.
I mean, that's like the hot dog experience.
I know.
though. Being worried about the meat, that's
I mean,
part of it.
I always thought fear
That's
was
the
a good
adventure.
part of eating a hot dog.
Yeah.
Like not.
It's like, am I eating a pig's asshole?
Yeah.
It's part of the fun.
And the answer is yes.
Right.
Yes.
All right,
Watching
second
that
to last.
Euphoria. Keep watching Euphoria.
That's episode 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Number ballpark hot dogs in Euphoria.
That's also episode 1 of Black Mirror, by the way.
Number 2. You got 2 left.
A classic, watermelon, right? What is summer food about? Thank you, folks.
Wow.
It's about
Pro
enjoying
Mallory
something
crowd.
delicious. It's about the satisfaction, the pleasure. But it's also about tapping into your youth, the child within, nostalgia. Like the way you felt when you watched Stranger Things Season 3, despite not having seen Seasons 1 or 2,
That's true.
right?
I was confused.
You got to think back to what it was like to be a
didn't watch
kid in
the
the
first
world.
two?
It's a really...
I wanted to
Strange
hang out with
choice.
my son, and he was watching it, and I'm like, what's the deal with 11? She's weird. Nosebleed every time, huh? I just didn't know what
Every
was going
time.
on.
Are you going to do your 11 impression?
No. The
You're workshopping it?
audience, I'm still workshopping. I have an 11 impression that.
There you go. It's that same
kids laugh.
feeling that you have when you're watching something with Ben and you're
Yeah.
sharing something special with somebody you love. That's every bite of watermelon.
I
Well,
love
see, I know
watermelon.
House loves watermelon more than just about anything, so he's
I-
not.
I
gonna-
do love watermelon.
There's no rebuttal from House.
This is going to be very unfair. She's going to be very mad at me. The Maryland blue crab.
That's my number 1.
crab feast.
Oh, this
That's
is
my
fine.
number 1.
That's fine. We
We
can
can
have
just
overlap.
have it out. I mean,
Yeah.
any of the things that you just described, but especially you must have Old Bay. They must be boiled all together in a giant pot. Everybody has to be assembled. It has to take too long for them to come out, and they have to be overdoused. You have to get cuts in your hands. You have to pay the price to pry the beautiful lump
Yes.
crab meat out.
That's the key. The misery, right? Because you are working so fucking hard to get the smallest yield. It's like making the ringer every day, right? We're putting so much into it, and it feels like we've birthed it from our loins. You feel the Old Bay going into the cuts on your finger, actually entering your bloodstream.
And suck it out.
Absolutely
You have to.
delicious.
Do
Delicious.
you feel like as a New England thing, crab was never really on the radar for me that much?
No.
Growing up, it
No,
was
I
always
just-
like
it
You're
lobster
lobster
roll.
folk. Yeah.
Lobster
Yeah,
roll.
lobster.
We
You
mid-Atlantic
don't pay any
people.
price.
Clam
for
thing
lobster.
was big, because if you didn't have money, your dad wasn't going to get you like 6 lobsters for everybody. You'd be just sitting there eating clam strips. And when you're a kid, you're like, this is just a weirder tasting French fry. So
Yeah,
that was good. But
yeah.
yeah,
The clam strip was a New
the
England.
the Maryland, the DC, the whole crab thing. Like I know I'm not even going to talk to you guys about it because I just know. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like you guys are kind of arrogant about it.
Kind of.
That's just your boy Van Pelt.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just talking about Scotty Too Hottie. He's the one who.
I will not eat a crab
Natty
cake
Bo.
outside of the state of Maryland. Will not eat a crab cake outside of the state of Maryland.
I understand. You have standards. You're a person of principle. This is why we get along.
I have a hot take on crab. I don't like it. I don't like working for when I'm eating food. I don't. You like everything you described about how it's the journey and it sucks and it's torture and it's like, yeah, that sucks. I like my food brought out to me and I can eat it. I don't want to work for it.
Can you guys tell that Bill is the boss?
No. That's fair. No, I've never, even lobster. Right? I like when you order a lobster and they've actually like opened it and done stuff, and then it's like, all right, now I'm gonna eat it. Thank you for preparing it for me. But then it's like I gotta put a fucking bib on and it's splashing on me. It's going in my contacts. Like, what's fun about that?
But you do also have that option with crab. You can get a delicious crab cake. You can get a Maryland crab soup. Wonderful. You can get a soft shell crab. Crab imperial.
Yes, all terrific.
Crab dip on a soft pretzel.
Every variety of it. That's right. Yes.
House, what was your number one?
It's like that scene in Forrest Gump.
There are a lot of things you can do with crab. Let there be no doubt. A ribeye on the grill. It's my favorite cut of meat in the summer. I love the fat on the grill. I love the sear. I love the way that the muscle tendon melts down in kind of a buttery kind of way inside there if you cook it properly.
I feel like we're in a biology lesson here.
Well,
muscle tendon.
This is how we enjoy it. It's what it all builds to this beautiful, delicious mouthful.
So you were steak, crabs, corn,
hot dogs, and caprese.
And you were crab, ice cream,
watermelon,
chili cheese dog, watermelon,
soup. Right.
Soup.
So to recap,
like, so undermined you.
No, did it? One of us talked about muscle tendons and figs, and one of us talked about peaches and cream and that feeling of tapping into your childhood and remembering what it was like to be young and free and reminding you that you can make your own choices and that you're your own person.
All right, so we have 3 votes. 1 vote is me, 1 vote is Russillo, and the 3rd vote is the audience. Russillo, who wins?
That ice cream thing, I'm sorry, House, but it was so beautifully delivered. The recovery there was incredible after the soup. So I'm going to have to go with Mallory.
Thank you.
I'm voting for House because the combination of
ridiculous
if we're eating all this stuff at once, hot soup, chili cheese dog, and then ice cream, it's like the diarrhea special. No thanks.
Why do you think they make Imodium?
Remember, she's home.
All right, so the audience, we're just going to judge by the noise. How many of you think Mallory won that one?
Come on. Yes! Yeah. Even House is voting for me.
9 pints.
How many have House? Oh!
Wow.
It was the soup. It killed you. I think you lost. The Mother of Dragons.
And I think it was a draw.
How many thought it was a draw? Yeah, nobody.
We'll go have some crabs together. We'll have a crab feast and sort it out.
We will.
Can we quickly talk about, Ryan's a writer, I'm a writer, obviously. Game of Thrones, they made some choices. Ryan and I were always confused about...
how to pronounce Genji?
Some of the names.
There's a few names we struggled with. Twitter let us know.
The food scene, though, on Game of Thrones. What are they eating? How are they keeping the livestock? Is there a menu? What's going on in the 1300s?
This is my favorite bit of yours, the 1300s. What are they eating? It depends on where they are and when. If they're up at Castle Black, then Three-Fingered Hob is probably preparing mutton stew of some sort.
Mutton stew.
Mutton stew.
Yes? No?
Yeah.
Sure. That's lamb. I like that.
A lot of mutton. Remember when Arya serves Tywin the mutton in season 2 at Harrenhal, and he says, I don't like mutton, and lets her eat it, right? If it's Joffrey's wedding, then it's a 77-course meal. What does he eat right before he drinks the poisoned wine? Spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen season 4, episode 2 of Game of Thrones. Pigeon pie. A lot of lamprey pie in Game of Thrones, which is eel.
I think the 1300s were disgusting, personally.
Yeah. A lot of mead. Tormund drinks sour goat's milk, giant's milk, he would tell you. The Dothraki drink mare's milk, clotted mare's milk.
What does that mean?
It's like milk with clots in it so that it's fermented, alcoholic.
Clots?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I was surprised they were so jacked on just that fermented milk.
It's all the horse jerky.
Yeah. Like, is that going to make the comeback? Some sort of protein supplement?
What was the exercise like back then, Ryan? What do you think?
Sex and fighting.
Were
That's
they?
it.
There's no lifting stuff, lifting large logs. And anything?
Well, historians have argued. No, yeah, I think murdering,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Some murder.
Yeah.
Murder kept everyone.
Can you imagine if you were murdering people regularly, how motivated you'd be to stay in shape? Like, that's such a different level than just showing off on Instagram. It's like, if I go to the wrong village and I'm not in shape, I'm going to die.
I actually, speaking of Game of Thrones, I got a great email from somebody, from a listener, who was saying how is it possible that Kawhi Leonard outthought people better than anyone did in the last season of Game of Thrones? And he actually did. He played it perfectly. He ended up on the team he wanted. He got the second star he wanted. And he screwed the Lakers. It was very kind of what we wanted from the final episode.
Maybe he should be on Brand's small council.
Maybe he should.
Yeah.
Instead, in Game of Thrones, we had
Be a better master of coin than Bronn.
Dinklage in handcuffs laying out everything for the government, for the future.
Yeah, standing there in manacles, telling them how the future of the realm would be conducted. Yeah, that makes sense.
Happy with it. Have you come to grips with the final season at all, or no?
What do you mean by come
I
to
don't know.
grips?
Do you feel better or worse about it?
I've made peace with it. Game of Thrones
sounds like worse.
Game of Thrones is very important to me, and I'm feeling like we're lucky to have been alive to share this together. That's where I am with it.
Okay.
I know House came to peace with the fact that not nearly enough nudity in the final season for House.
I'm not talking about that. I want to see Russillo's murder Instagram.
Murdered a guy. Stay fit. Box jumps.
Hashtag.
I think people are going to watch the last season again a couple years from now because we're so predictable, and they'll be like, you know what, it wasn't that bad.
It'll be like
in
Sopranos.
The moment, like in the moment, there was almost nothing that could happen for it to meet the expectations. You seem pretty skeptical over there.
3 more episodes in each of the final 2 seasons, or 3 and 4.
Would have been nice.
And then you're fine. Because it wasn't about the final outcome in literally almost any case. It was just a pacing and plotting issue, right?
Went too fast.
So it took a season and a half. I said this to Bill on his pod a couple weeks ago, but a season and a half from Mance Rayder saying he was going to light a fire to lighting it, right? Season and a half. But we get 2 scenes with Dany between, obviously spoilers, lighting King's Landing on fire and dying with one of the primary protagonists of the show. That's just a pacing issue.
You would have thrown in a mutton stew scene, you think?
You need the mutton.
Some clot milk?
I think if you look back at the mutton sequences with Arya and Tywin, some of the best dialogue in the show, you can see that's really that's what we're talking about right here. Sharing a meal, sharing your passions, learning about each other, right? Then you lean in for the kiss stab.
Well, we learned a lot
earned.
tonight. We learned that Magic Johnson continues to confound us on Twitter. We learned about summer food. We learned about that there is a Russillo-Maury rivalry. We learned what everybody would do as they head into free agency. House, you're my Uncle Dennis. We learned that. Thanks for coming out. This was really fun. We really appreciate it. It's nice to be here. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Win some money tonight.
Thanks to ZipRecruiter. Don't forget to go to ZipRecruiter.com/BS. Thanks to Kevin Wilds. Thanks to everybody who was at the Vegas show and everybody who participated in that. Don't forget about the Rewatchables Fatal Attraction coming up this week. We have 2 more podcasts coming on this one. And shout out to our friends at Lock It In on FS1 because that show came back today. So check that out. Back later in the week.